Hit it.
All right. Since the beginning of time, energy has been a primal source of survival. It's a part of everyone's life, therefore it is a very valuable resource. However, through the evolution of our society, we have become inefficient at allocating particular resources, one of which is energy. According to Roland Rosario, head of R&D at Vectren, there are three problematic concerns with the production of energy with utility companies in the state of Indiana today. The first is the unpredictability behind high peak loads of energy production. Second is the inability to persuade consumers to alter their consumption behaviors. And third are the economic inefficiencies caused by these two variables. For instance, if we take a look at this graph, we can see that during peak hours, demand exceeds supply, leading to a deadweight loss, due to the fact utility companies had to purchase energy from other utility companies at a higher rate to supplement this high demand. Inversely, if we take a look at off-peak hours, there is a consumer surplus due to the fact that energy companies are producing way too much energy, translating to a relative loss in production.
So Mr. Rosario told us that the holy grail that would solve these problems is disaggregation. So we're coming up with an app that does just that. This application is going to allow consumer behavioral modifications through a couple of different means that we'll get into, and open up the door to time of use pricing structures to the local utility companies. So how are we going to do this? Well, Mr. Rosario told us about sensors that can be placed on the mains of a home or a business that'll actually track the flow of energy going into that home. Now, if we use Kitara's technology as the back end on this system, we can pick out, based on different APIs or signatures of different things being used in these homes or businesses, what's using energy, when it's using the energy, how it's using the energy, and use all of this data in a meaningful way. What our plan is to make two different user interfaces. The first one's going to be for the consumer of the electricity, and it's going to be a little app that they can access on their smartphone or their computer. And what it's going to do is tell them, this is using energy at this time, this is how much it's using, and they can look at what the pricing is at that given time if they choose to go with a time of use type pricing structure. So it'll allow them to make more efficient decisions, both financially and more environmentally friendly decisions. The other user interface is going to be for the utility company. From that, they're going to be able to look at all of their customers, figure out where the most energy is being used, when it's being used, and then they can draw conclusions as to the why to figure out where efficiency problems lie within their grid. So whenever they have this data, they're going to be able to implement new pricing structures, different time of use pricing structures, which I'd like to talk about for a minute here. As you can see on the chart, there are a couple of different plans for time of use that a utility company can get into once they have this capability. One of which is a real-time pricing structure, where they take whatever the current demand is, and they run it through an algorithm to come up with a price that's most efficient for that demand. Another type would be time of use, where they figure out what their peak hours are, and they create a price that's higher during the peaks. Now, the way that's different from the current pricing structure is we've got an average the whole time. During time of use pricing, they have much higher pricing during the peaks and much lower pricing during the off-peak time. So this kind of pricing structure encourages more environmentally friendly behavior by not overloading the system at one given time, as well as saving the end users money or rewarding them with money for making more environmentally friendly decisions.
Now, the electric industry is a $319 billion industry with an expected growth rate of 13.5% over the next 5 years. And there are several market factors that go into our application and the process of which we are designing it. Now, we have the demand from the consumer standpoint that they want to know, they want to see how much energy they're using, where they're using, and what time of day they're using it. And the power company also, once that has that demand, they want to see where their inefficiencies are, how they can eliminate those inefficiencies, and how they can raise their profits, make better business. And then we also have the government, which is now starting to step in and start to regulate all these inefficiencies. We need to get rid of them. We need to make sure we don't lose our earth and get a greener place and a better place to live on. Now, there are 9 total power companies in Indiana right now with a total market share of $9 billion. But we want to start by targeting the biggest, these are the biggest 4 power companies right now that are in Indiana. And each of those have their own territories, so we can't consider them a governmental monopoly. So we want to start by targeting Vector and work with them, get this app to roll out, and then we're going to go with the other 3 up here and roll it out with them and see what our successes are over a 5-year period.
So to conclude, what we're proposing here is an application that uses data in a meaningful way by tracking the usage, the exact usage, the specific usage of electricity flowing through the grid. It's going to allow power companies as well as individual users to make more environmentally friendly and more efficient choices with the way we allocate electricity. Thank you.
All right.